Hey, what's going on everyone? Rocky here with 75 South Gardening. In today's video, I'll be going over everything you should be growing right now in the month of April for your spring and summer garden. So the first thing that you should be starting or already growing in the month of April is one of the most important plants in a garden, and that's going to be your flowers. And my flowers of choice are always the zinnias and marigolds. By growing flowers in the garden, you will be able to attract the pollinators that you need to pollinate your flowering plants. Your flowers are going to attract hummingbirds, your ladybugs, your lady beetles, your green lacewing flies. Now your green lacewigs, your ladybugs, and your lady beetles all feed on aphids. So for those of you that have had aphid problems, if you have flowers to attract these pollinators, they will help keep your plants clean. Now your bees, butterflies, and hummingbirds will also feed off of the nectar and pollen that your flowers produce. Marigolds will always be my choice of flower because they produce a scent that deter most pests and rodents. And the more I grow, the less pests I see in my garden. Now the zinnias do the same thing, but the zinnias will help with aphid control. Aphids do not like the scent of zinnias. Your earwigs, your aphids, your spider mites, your white flies, the tomato worms, and your cucumber beetles. This will deter those pests in your garden. Your zinnias will also attract your hummingbirds if you have hummingbirds in your area. Now the hummingbirds will also feed on your zinnias, but don't worry about it. In return, they will eat flies and other insects from your plants. Now in my yard here in Georgia, Zone 8A, I have a small bird that looks like a canary, and it is called the Carolina wren bird. Every morning, those birds hop through my raised beds, and they clean up every bug that they see crawling. And every now and then, I leave a little wild bird feed out and water for them. So always plant flowers near your vegetable garden to attract all of the pollinators and beneficial insects that you need in your garden. That's the first step for your pest control. Everyone always asks, how do you keep your plants so clean? You have to find a way to attract your pollinators and beneficial insects. In the month of April, you can go ahead and start your herbs if you haven't started them already. And most of these you can start from seed, but I'll go through each one. The parsley, you can start from seed right now. Same thing with cilantro, basil, chamomile, dill, and lavender. Now the lavender I would start as a transplant and not from seed because it will take forever. But if you live in Georgia, Zone 8A, we have a long growing season. So if you want to start them from seed, go right ahead. You also want to make sure you're starting your lavender outdoors and not indoors. It doesn't do well indoors. Now there are a few other herbs that you can start right now, but I don't recommend you starting them from seed, and that's going to be your oregano and your thyme. Those are very tiny seeds that could take up to 30 days to germinate, and within 30 days we could have 80-degree temps that will dry out the soil too quick and kill your new seedlings. So if you can grow them from transplant, find transplants. Now there's one more, and that's rosemary. And rosemary does well when started from seed in the heat. In the month of April, you still have time to grow more lettuce. You just want to make sure that you're growing a heat-tolerant variety and you're not placing it in the direct sunlight. Same thing with the kale. You want to make sure that it has some shade in the afternoon, otherwise it will bolt. In the month of April, you can grow Swiss chard. Now, Swiss chard loves the heat. So you don't have to worry about it bolting. It's now a good time to go ahead and plant your beans. And I'll be growing plenty of the stringless green beans and the stringless pole beans. So these are two different varieties. Both Blue Lake. One is a bush bean and one is a pole bean. In the month of April, you can also start your sunflowers. Remember, attract your pollinators and beneficial insects. You can also go ahead and start your pumpkins. In the month of April, you can go ahead and start your peas, whether it's cow peas, and you still have time to start more of your snap peas before it gets too hot. In the month of April, you can go ahead and start your okra, your corn, your squash and zucchini, your celery, and your beets. And for those of you that like greens, in the month of April, you can also grow more collard greens. But you want to make sure that they are a heat-tolerant variety like the Georgia Southern Collard. In the month of April, you still have time to start more tomatoes from seed and cherry tomatoes from seed or transplant. In the month of April, you still have time to start more peppers from seed. They will take up to 3 weeks to germinate, but you can transplant your peppers as late as July and still get a nice harvest. In the month of April, you still have time to start more watermelon from seed or transplant. Cantaloupes, honeydews, and you can also start more cucumbers and eggplants. So what you're looking at right here is everything from the last video where I showed you guys 3 different methods that you can use to get your seeds started. So we're going to start off with the sandwich bag. Now this is the poinsettia cucumber. None of these germinated. So there may have been a pack of bad seeds because they didn't germinate with that method, and they also didn't germinate with a direct sowing. So I'm thinking that I bought a pack of bad seeds. Now as far as my watermelon go, all of my sugar babies have started to germinate. Remember, I put 4 in each cup. So there were 4 good seeds there, 2 good ones here. And these are the heart of gold cantaloupes. So I have 2 here that germinated. And right here in the bag is a perfect example of what I was telling you guys about letting it grow too long inside the bag. Now the roots may be stuck onto this paper towel. And look at that, y'all. The roots have latched on and went through the paper towel and under the paper towel. That's why I say, once you see that it has germinated, like the little one here, go ahead and remove it like this and direct sow it. If not, the roots will latch on to the paper towel. Same thing here with this one. I'm going to plant those today and try my best to separate that without shocking the new seedling. And we also have a sugar baby in this bag that has germinated. Now, I've never tried it with the watermelon, but I wanted to give it a try just to see what happens. And honestly, I thought they all would just rot. looks like the same thing here. These are ready to go into the ground. This one was about to latch on to the paper towel. I just wanted to give you guys real results and show you that my methods work. Now these are the tender green cucumbers. And I have 2 out of 10 of the tender greens that germinated in the paper towel. Not one single one in the cup. So I've already started more of these, but I'm leaning more towards another bad pack of seeds. Now with the all sweet watermelon, and there's 3 that have germinated out of 11 of my all sweets. And there's more all sweets in the cup where I demonstrated the direct sowing method. Now I'm not sure how many germinated in this cup because they haven't come up yet, but so far we have 3. Now as far as the tender green cucumbers, I have more right here in method number 2, which is the soaking method. And down here I have 2 that have germinated. So these will also be planted right here in the same cup where the bad seeds are. Now for anyone that has seedlings that are starting to yellow and look like this, it is simply because your plants have become root bound. I'm not worried about it because within 1 week, everything you see here, except for my new seedlings, will be transplanted outdoors. And for those of you that stay in colder climates and you have plants like this, they have pretty much outgrew the grow room area. You have 2 options: raise your lights higher, or you could simply snap this just like that. I know that probably hurts some of you, but all you have to do is drop it in water, and within a week you will have roots like the one that you see here. This is another one that got too tall. And within a few days, your roots should look something like this. I had to snap this one off, so y'all ran out of space. But anyway, that's one way to do it. I'm not telling you that you have to, but it's very hard to kill a tomato plant. You can literally drop this and all of your suckers in water, and within a week, you will have roots like the one that you see here. All right, y'all, so today what I'll be doing is transplanting a few things. Over here in this bed, it's pretty obvious. I'll be planting the peppers that you see there in the back row, and across this front row here, this is where I'll be planting my stringless green beans. And over here, these are the Cherokee purples from the last video. And these are the 4 super sweet 100s. And they're gonna grow straight up the trellis that you see here. Right over here, these are the Abe Lincoln tomatoes. And this bed will be used for peppers. So I've already transplanted my collards. They're off to a nice start. And I still have this one kale plant growing out of my compost that doesn't seem to bolt at all, but it's also growing up against the privacy fence here in the shade. The other kale plants that I harvested are also starting to grow back. And the red Russian is still going. No signs of bolting. Down here, the strawberries are starting to produce. So soon I'll be covering these up with some netting to protect them from the birds and the crawling pests. And there's more right over here. I also decided to plant more collards in the raised bed that I have here. So I'm going to start right here. And this is a 20-gallon grow bag. And this is where I'll be growing more stringless green beans. Now over here in this 20-gallon, where I have my tomato cage set up, I'll be growing my pole beans. I'm just going to put a few in this 20-gallon. When growing beans, you can space them as close as 3 inches. So what I'm going to do is simply just take a bean. You want to make sure that you're laying it sideways, or it could grow upside down. I'm just going to lay it sideways. And I'm going to push these down just like this, about 1 inch. That's it. And cover it up. Now within a week, these are going to pop up and start growing. Now another good thing is, today is August the 8th. April the 8th, y'all. And within a few days, we're going to be expecting heavy rain all night. So I won't be watering these in. I'll let the rain do its job. Same rules apply here with the pole beans. 1 inch down, and then I'll cover them up. So now I'm going to move along to my tomatoes. Now with tomatoes, you want to make sure that you're planting them as deep as you possibly can. The little hairs that you see sticking off the stem of the tomato plants are called trichomes. Over time, these will form into roots if you bury them deep, or if the plant simply lies on the ground and gets anywhere near moisture. You want to plant this as deep as you possibly can. So another tip is to break it up. Drop it down in there. Now another thing that I'll tell you guys is you can also lie this flat in the ground, turn it up at the end like that, and it'll grow just fine. That way, from here all the way down to here, you will have new roots, and that will help the plant anchor itself down to the ground better. It will also form a stronger root system, which will help produce a heavier yield. And overall, that strong root system will develop a healthier plant. Now the bone meal is a source of phosphorus and calcium, which will promote more flowers. The more flowers you have, the better chance you have of having a higher yield. And the stronger rooting system you have, the better chance of you having a healthier plant that will produce a higher yield. So get them off to a good start and add a little bone meal. Now over here, I'll only be planting the bush beans today. So what I'm going to do is do 2 rows. Now plant one here in the center where the center block is, and the other right here. And every 3 inches all the way down, I'll put another bean. Now my peppers won't be transplanted for another 2 weeks, and by that time they will be ready to be pruned. Now you don't have to prune your peppers. That's just my personal preference. And within 1 week, I'll be uploading a full grow guide on how to grow peppers. Now the last thing that I'll be doing is showing you all an example of how to thin your carrots. Now when growing carrots, you want to space your plants anywhere from 2 to 3 inches apart. So for example, from here to here is about 3 inches. So what I would do is cut this one and this one and even this third one here. Never pull these out or you risk reaping the roots of the carrot right next to it. So what you want to do is get some small scissors and cut them. Here's another example. I have one here, then I have one here. These two are way too close to each other. So I could simply snip this at the bottom, just like that. Now I have space in between this carrot and this carrot. And you want to do that all the way around your whole carrot bed or wherever you're growing them. That way they can get to a nice size. Right here is a good example of the perfect spacing. This is my corner garden. It's not quite finished yet, but over here in the 220 gallons, I've decided to plant my all sweets here, and I'll let them grow all over that area right there. That will be my small watermelon patch. And this space is no bigger than 5 by 5 feet. So for all of you with small yards, you can grow watermelon. Now with the sugar babies, they will be growing out of this 20 gallon here. And I'll let them grow up the fence. And over here we have the collard green that flowered. It's folded over like that because it didn't like the fact that I dug it up and moved it. But as you can see, the flowers have turned back up to the sun and it will continue growing. Now right here, these are the seed pods that look like beans. So within 45 days, they will swell up just like your beans would. And as soon as the plant starts to die off, you want to let those dry out. Then you can harvest them. And after you harvest them, make sure that you leave them out for an additional 2 to 3 weeks so that they dry completely and you don't have to worry about them molding in your containers that you put them in, or bags, or whatever you use. And over here, these are the indeterminate potatoes. And as you can see, they are starting to flower. Now whenever you see flowers on your potatoes, that means that your tubers are starting to form. Now most people will tell you that if you remove the flowers, the plant can focus more on tuber production versus flower production. Now if you don't remove these flowers, they will produce little berries that look like cherry tomatoes, and they will be poisonous. Do not try to eat them. So what I've decided to do was remove all of the flowers except for the big one in the corner over there. I'm going to leave that one on and see the size difference in my potatoes towards the end of the season. And I'll do the same thing here with my determinants. Over here where this raised bed is, this will be going right over there when my cantaloupes are ready. And I'll replace this raised bed with 2 more of the 20 gallon grow bags. And I'll tie my twine to the handle and run it up to here for my trellising. You have to remember your cucumbers need something to climb on. And that's pretty much it for today's video, you guys. Remember, we are still having that crazy weather here in Zone 8A in Georgia due to all of the tornadoes. So we will be receiving lots of rain And if you're going to transplant your new plants into your garden, make sure that you're transplanting your cool weather crops first. Those you won't have to worry about shocking or dying due to the cold weather. Now, if your plants are fully hardened off, you can go ahead and transplant them right before it rains. That way they get soaked in with that good rainwater. And with that being said, always remember to plan your garden with your health in mind. A few of the white ones that you see here. And there's plenty on here. Mainly the ones cut the tops of the one that only have one single branch. Just like that.